The Silent Twins refused to speak to anyone but each other. June and Jennifer Gibbons had made a pact with each other where one of them had to die so the other could live. They were born in 1963 in Barbados, but grew up in Wales. From the moment that they were able to speak, they were inseparable. But they had a dark secret. They refused to talk to anybody but each other. Nobody even knew why. Like, they would stand perfectly still in front of people and stare straight ahead, not saying a word. And even their own family started to believe that something might be wrong with them. These girls were not dumb. They spoke in like a high speed and whispered a language no one could understand but them. They spoke in a mix of English, Bajan Creole, and inverted words. But like, what made it so disturbing was that they were speaking at like lightning speed. And they were both in perfect unison, and it was like they had two halves of the same mind. By the time these girls were teenagers, they were completely withdrawn from the world. They would spend months locking themselves in their shared bedroom, writing dark stories that are really disturbing. And in one of the journals, it said, "One of us is going to die, and it will be Jennifer." People believe that they were trapped with like some sort of psychic bond. Like, one sister could only go on to live a normal life if the other died. And at 18, they finally broke their silence. They went on this crime spree, and they set buildings on fire. They were like vandalizing properties. They were breaking into stores. And the strange part about this is they were committing the crimes together, but they weren't speaking when they were doing this. It's like they were telepathically communicating. And when they were caught, they were sent to Broadmoor Hospital, which is one of the like most famous like psychiatric hospitals in the UK. This is the same place where they would put like violent, terrible criminals. But in the hospital, doctors tried to separate them, but every time they were apart, they would fall into like catatonic states where they wouldn't eat, they wouldn't speak, they wouldn't even move. And one of the psychiatrists described this as one of the most extreme cases of psychosis that has ever been recorded. While they were in the hospital, June wrote in her diary, "We have made a pact. Jennifer has decided to give up her life for me." After spending 12 years at Broadmoor, they were finally transferred to like a lower security hospital. And during the transfer journey, Jennifer leaned over to her sister and she whispered, "I'm going to die." Then by the time they had arrived at the hospital, Jennifer had collapsed, and only a few hours later, she was dead. Like, there was no poison, no signs of trauma, but they have no idea how she died. They could not determine the cause of death. So they just listed heart failure, but they weren't even sure it was that. It was like she simply willed herself to die. The creepiest part about all of this is after Jennifer's death, June started speaking normally and like went on to live a normal life like nothing ever happened. Come over here for more freaky videos.